stay right here, make it last a lifetime. We could be a great ride, this won't be our last time. We will stay right here and make it last a lifetime. Don't you feel great now? This won't be our last time.
I have today declared that the coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
Infection levels start to explode all over the world.
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States.
States soon start closing schools and announcing stay-at-home orders.
Stay at home.
Stay home, stay safe.
Quite simply, stay at home.
So no more visitors at your house, visiting other people's houses, going to restaurants, parties, pubs, clubs, sporting events. You get the idea.
The University of Washington became the nation's first large college to close its classrooms, saying it will cancel in-person classes and have students take classes and exams remotely instead.
Stanford and Harvard, they're canceling classes or they're going to online learning, not just for a couple of weeks, but for the rest of the year.
This is what the college experience has been limited to. Some of the most pivotal moments in our existence have now been limited to a screen. In the best 4 years of our lives, we are expected to find ourselves, our purpose, and how to best contribute those aspects to society. All that we were expected to accomplish in 4 years posed enough pressure, only now we are to do so in a historical, cataclysmic event. We are a unique group of individuals who do not have the luxury to be motivated to return to normal life. Other groups of people who are well into their lives and careers will resume business as usual, just as those whose lives have barely begun will pick up where they left off in grade school. College students are awaiting to be violently thrown back into the real world and will be expected to confront real scenarios based on virtual preparation. Through this virtual higher education, we are not learning, we are not absorbing, and we're not developing. Instead, we're stressing, filtering, and waiting. We are in limbo. One of the biggest concerns the pandemic has created for college students is the fact that we are now limited to our home environments.
It's a lot of shifts. Just because it starts out with, you were already physically able to go talk to people, physically able to do these things, and then now you're bound to your home and a laptop and a screen and a camera. And that's where it starts and ends. Your home is school. Your home has no longer really become just its own comfort. It has become like a place where the stress sits right in front of you. Every day you have class.
College students look upon that time as a time to kind of get out of their environment and try to get into another environment so that they can be independent of some of those restraints or wherever they are in a home environment and start to develop themselves. And so they aren't allowed and are thrown back into whether it's a home environment with a lot of advantages or sometimes a home environment with disadvantages and maybe even some safety considerations. They are trapped in that environment. So having to learn online on top of that is a really particular type of lane that makes it super difficult to not just learn, but also develop as an adult. That is super challenging, almost kind of stunts their growth.
My daily routine has changed since COVID drastically because before it would revolve during the week, Monday to Friday, me going to campus and me in the morning preparing to go to campus and then coming back home in the afternoon. That no longer happens. So even though I'm still preparing for class, the routine of just me getting up to get on a Zoom call on my computer in my room, just repeatedly doing that and just at home, it's too repetitive and there's no longer any motivation.
Confinement, isolation, and restraint are detrimental for any person, but it is especially hindering to young minds in the process of developing.
They say this is where you start building your connections with people and you start networking and meeting new people, and you guys are all going through this journey of college together. And you meet so many different people, so many different minds and ideas and just perspectives that you really wouldn't ever blink an eye towards. And I feel like that has definitely just taken it all away, because the time that you get to communicate is your lecture time. And majority of it is your professor talking. It's not really much of an interacting thing.
Going to college is not supposed to be just about learning something out of a textbook and from a lecture. It's also a lot about developing and growing as a person. And right now, we're not getting that whole other aspect of it. We're learning, but the repetitive aspect of just being at home has made it that even more difficult. So we're lacking the learning itself of the material, and then everything else that comes into play that would help us develop and grow, all that's taken out of the picture.
While online applications that simulate a learning environment are innovative, they consist of many flaws that there is no compensation for.
On the student side, I think it's really challenging to be engaged with a screen for long periods of time. So there has to be breaks, and there have to be really environmental factors and physical factors of having the right equipment and having Wi-Fi, having a quiet space, which is wildly unequal in a student population. So I just think it's a mixed up situation and wildly different for all different types of students. So those present different types of challenges on a whole sliding scale.
Because especially for me, I have a lot of labs where the learning process, when it comes to that, it's a hands-on approach. And even though the teachers try to get us videos of everything we would learn in lab, it is completely different to get that experience of hands-on learning, because just the way that we're supposed to learn it, when you're doing hands-on, you're able to capture that more.
we can't get that like physical one-on-one time with our professors. We have to schedule like Zoom meetings, or we have to schedule like through their office hours, which isn't anything different, but I think it's just a different experience when you have somebody that is like sitting with you and able to communicate to you about any questions that you have or any troubling moments that you're having within the course. And they're able to kind of reach you a lot easier.
So, what can you do to better assist the college students in your life? Whether you are parenting them, employing them, or teaching them, you need to first understand them and what they truly need.
There are other things bigger than the pictures that are on my screen right now, which is just a Zoom call. Like, there's a whole pandemic going on behind us and outside of us. It's a lot harder to focus when you know something like that. We are trying to manage through this pandemic just the same that they are. You know what I mean? We're not these little robots that don't have emotion. We probably feel more confused than they do. Like, because now we're these young adults that are trying to understand our lives and where we want to see them, but not really knowing where that will go unless this pandemic is still going on.
What professors can do to help us is to be able to understand and to accommodate. Understand the fact that it's a whole different world for us students. We're no longer going to that in-class lecture, and our lives have completely revolved and changed.
Really, the only way to approach all of these changes was to keep reminding myself of the difficulties that students were facing and the different circumstances that they were in. Sometimes I was stressing out about doing everything exactly perfectly and making sure that all the students were meeting the deadlines in the exact same way. I let go of that. And I feel like that helped students be able to just have a little bit of leeway. And it helped me just be able to sort of relax and know that it's fine. Students have individual needs and need to have a little bit of leeway in how those deadlines are being met. And it's, okay. All students learn differently, and all humans are different. And we need to be open to that as professors, whether there's a pandemic or not.
Work with us and not against us. And that's for parents, professors, and employers. We're here to work with you guys just as much as you're working with us. Let's make each other's lives easier here and find how we can better communicate through these issues.